Campa isn't scoring any points today. I mean, that could be, he's getting obviously his points from the sprint. As Ghostface then looks to take the lead down at the hairpin, which he does, yeah. Braddock's playing things safe, could have potentially tried to hold that round the outside, but realised then doesn't want to do anything stupid and risk a collision.
Hugo Skywalker, so he's going to get to 13th. But I mean, I suppose the one saving thing is this DRS trend takes it all the way up to 5th.
Yeah. And the one,
I think by the time he gets there, he's then going to realise the gap to the front four and how they just disappear down there.
I think the one good thing, I know a lot of cars are on the same strategy as him, but he is on the hards as well, so in that sense the race is somewhat flipping in his head, so if he has got pace he can utilise the softer compounds at the end of the race. If he has got more raw pace compared to the cars that he's actually positioned around on track currently, so could be an interesting one just watching him come through the pack. Obviously, like we said, massive lead so far in the championship, but this is a potential swing moment that we've been waiting for. As the Red Bulls scrap through Sector 2, Nagrom on ERS None, holding up his teammate a little bit and doing well though not to lose the pack ahead. Chesney's still not pitted for his front wing, but we've got a bit of action actually as Gremic and gets past Nitro. Nitro, the only one on the mediums up here, tries to go side by side with Gremic through the banked corner. Both survive. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Nitro on these softer tyres.
I was going to say, I think with the tyre deg here and how quickly your tyres begin to die, I don't think you can go to the hards sort of from lap 1 and get to the end like you can around the other places.
No, yeah.
So I think this is why, Chesington bowling into the final turn on them. You'll not have a bit of lag, you will almost fully smash into the Red Bull.
Well, that's what he did with Campa.
I think he would just sit where he is in the DRS, get dragged along, and then go for his wing change. That way he doesn't have to go for a 2-stop.
At least like that.
Yeah, I think that's probably why I saw Chesney absolutely going up.
Which retired. That's a
speeding into the pits. That's in the pits.
Walker's obviously earlier on in the season I was calling out Nitro for retiring in the pits, but I think that's the 5th retirement in the pits of the season for Awkward, which is substantial enough that realistically that's heavily impacting his massive moment for Zafra on the curb though, manages to catch his car, but yeah, 5 retirements in the pits, that's not a good look if we do go into another season, obviously, if you want to hold the seat.
Jatin's retired. Jatin's left the session.
Oh, that's painful. He was having such a good race.
Quit to main menu. But yeah, he's retired from, what was that like? He was 5th? In the 5th or 6th at the time. Grom's into the wall. Grom's lost it. I've just cut to him and he's completely smashed off his wing on his debut race.
Jatin's saying he disconnected in the chat, yeah, and it's retired his car as well. That's so painful. But yeah, now Grom in the wall outside the point down with wing damage, so that's looks like it's a wrap for him as we've got another car sideways towards the back as Oozing.
And Hugo spins as well at the hairpin and round. I think Oozing's got some big twisters here as well.
Yeah, it's all falling apart for a handful of drivers all within half a lap here. As I imagine that's Negrom coming into the pits then, considering he's got damage. Is it? Yeah, straight into the pits. So that'd be a front wing change to see if he can get back in the race, or maybe a retirement to see if he can somewhat recover anything in this race. Only 13 cars left though, so not completely out of the question that points are there still there to grab to some extent, as that gap between 4th and 5th now is all the way up to 4 seconds now. So like you said, even if Campa's already 8th, but even if he clears Zafra, Slick and Lucas Champion, he's 4 seconds drift already. And considering their DRS training, you imagine that gap is just going to grow and grow, unless his pace is just that absolutely clear that he's able to drag himself up.
The problem is when he gets there as well and he doesn't have the DRS in front, it's then whether or not he gets dragged into more back and behind. But I suppose the one thing he could have is if he can go for a slightly different pit strategy and maybe the extra handicap, he could try and find the gap that way. But
yeah, it's like you said though, in terms of a race here, just the deg is so substantial that realistically you can't go for a lot of, somewhere like Zandvoort you can kind of chuck the tyres on so early and be like, yeah, I'm just going 27 laps on these mediums or something, and they somewhat can withstand that. But here, realistically, it is almost like a 50-50 split on your tyres, where you can't really do more than, well, you might be able to do a massive stint on the hards, but you would be definitely touching puncture territory. Same in the wet conditions with in terms of how many stops you do. So it's just one of those tracks that just eats your tyres. Lucas has been able to claw a bit of the gap back on the front four though. His Alpha's having a solid race though, although he is on the medium, so we'll see how his efforts are looking towards the back end of the race once he flips onto the less preferential tyre.
Be interesting to see what Campa can do with this gap in front of him, but I believe at the moment it's grown slightly. So I think he's almost at a point where, I mean, Chesney's doing well to hold on to a very slightly broken wing, yeah.
I think he's going to lose it
right
here,
now. I think he's either about to lose it or if not, he can't really make any difference down the straight.
Still in touch though. We've got Mawson in the wall towards the back as well. Hit one of those dodgy walls as well, so lucky not to fully be out there.
This wing, yeah,
I imagine that's a wrap as well for him though, isn't it, surely?
Well, that's a painful one because being on the hards, you go to the mediums, I don't know if they're going to get you to the end.
Really. 21 laps in
for a 2-stop man. Ghostface hits the lead then with DRS.
Zarko tucking it behind Lucas Champion as well. Breakaway front four though, so it looks like, will it be an Italian still on the front, on the top step, or will Brad, as the only outlier in this front four, will he be the one to offset himself and conquer the Italians? 1 against 3.
Yeah, that gap with Campa's gone up a couple of tenths this lap.
I was literally just, it was 1.9 just at the start of this lap, so it's gone up by like half a second. So this train with Lucas Champion, if they play their cards right, they could manage to fend off your reigning champion, not reigning champion, current champion here in Tier 2. Provisionally anyway, looks good for him, but a race like this is not going to help his efforts at all, as Bradders actually goes for a little move into the fast left and catches the curb though as the moment. Bold move though, considering it's not really necessary at this point in the race to get that snappy. So he retakes the lead. I imagine that he's going to get swamped down the main straight again as just positions continue to flap as we have this stage of the race where realistically positions don't matter too much if you're in a little DRS train like this. It's just about keeping your pace and just keeping things ticking along.
Yeah, if you're there, it's just about working sensibly here, and you don't want to start scrapping before you know it. Let Lucas back in for the sake of a sort of, for an on-track position when it doesn't really mean much at the moment.
Ghostface and Brad has actually had a decent gap going into the airbin on Gremic, but that's all been eradicated under braking, where it was around 7/10 down to 3.7 the gap between Nitro and Lucas Champion as well, so that's them what's staying relatively consistent. Lucas Champion did well in the sprint to keep the gap relatively stable, considering he wasn't in DRS under the cars ahead did have it. So looking to be somewhat similar again, although he is a bit further back on this occasion, and it's a bit more volatile. It's already looking like it's pushing up towards 4. So
I think out of sort of the 3 of them here, Lucas Champion clearly has the pace advantage over this sort of group of 3.
Yeah,
we've not able to sort of DRS each other along tactically, because no one's going to get most of that in the first race.
Yeah, I guess it's just with wing damage.
Wing change, so.
It's entering that point though where there are pit stops on the horizon for the medium runners at least, but I say medium runners, there's only 3 of them still in the race, considering we've lost Mawson and Awkward now from the race in the opening 10 laps. So eyes on Nitro, Chesney. Oh, Nagrom's in the wall.
That's a safety car.
How has he gone in the wall there?
I feel
he's gone into the wall before turn 1.
Has he somehow done it coming out the pit lane maybe there? I don't know if not. Because he was 30 seconds back, so whether or not he's just exited the pits, or I don't know what the deal is, or whether or not he's done something.
Yeah, I feel like that's slightly, that raises question marks, and he's typing in the chat, so
yeah.
Well, I'm assuming he's caught the grass or whatever and flipped into the wall, but catching the inside wall there, and he doesn't have footage, but I mean, yeah, catching the inside wall at turn 1 is, I mean, Paul in the chat said Nitro Will. I mean, this is beautiful for him because he can chuck on the optimal tyre now to go to the end. All these hard runners, I mean, they're going to have to pit.
There's quite a few of them in, but yeah, the front 4 are staying out. So that's including Campa as well. So Campa's going to jump back through the order and be 4th on the restart.
Wow. Okay, well, it makes sense for people to stay out really if you're on the hards. Because it's just not in your pit window. So, I mean, realistically, the people that have pitted, Lucas Champion, Slick and Ali, I mean, you can understand why they've done it.
I agree Lucas Champion's decision, because you've got to think Lucas Champion stayed 6th, having pitted from 6th.
Yeah.
As you might know, so he's dropped Campa, so he's dropped 1 position, but he's going to be on fresher tyres. At which point, I think I've put in, as long as he's gone balanced and he's got 2 sets of mediums, he can now just go medium until the end.
Yes. 18 laps left as well, so I'm interested to see. I mean, right now, just in terms of the tyres that people are using, Nitro is in the best position here. Hards easily can get to the end here. Lucas Champion, he probably can do a long stint on these mediums and get them to survive. It's the likes of, you've got both Williams in this front pack that haven't pitted. And they're going to have to double stack. They're closer than ever. I mean, they were still in the front pack, so they were going to have to either alter their strategy in terms of different pit laps, but not going to help them considering they're already kind of on a heavily damaged pit strategy currently. I see people are flaming this as for 7 in the chat. It's interesting to shame it doesn't look like we're getting any footage for that, but Nitro thanking whoever crashed in the chat as well, so that's beautifully changed this race around.
I'm just having a look, whether or not he means he caught the grass and the entry to the left somehow.
I just think, yeah.
I mean, the more I think about it, the more I don't know who's done that to him.
Yeah, I just think even if you catch the grass on the inside, there's a massive curb. I mean, we can see the curb on screen there into turn 1. Gigantic curb. He's caught the inside wall before there's even a kink into turn 1, so that means he's caught the curb and he's turning about 100 meters too early for the corner at that point. So I'm not feeding any lies that I'm being given. So, but yeah, okay, it's very frustrating. So something else we're after, but we've only got 11 cars then left. Hugo, the only car outside the points. Considering this race somewhat unravelled early, still in the picture here for points, although he does have that time penalty, the only one currently with the time penalty, interesting. But still 17 laps for that 2 change.
It's just, if you look at this now though, so what, you've got Nitro, Zafa and Chesney is the only 3 on fresh hard tyres that can get to the end. Because surely, I think the mediums will wear too quickly and certainly be into the tyre puncture territory come the end. And I don't even know whether or not you can even try to get them that far. Well, I say I think they're in tyre puncture territory. I think at that point you will be pretty much working them up to 100%.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how it goes because, I mean, looking at the people that pitted, Zafa was running decent. I know we were saying that realistically Lucas Champion had the slight pace advantage, but people are going very slow here at the back, and Nitro's got a 10-second penalty.
Obviously those can quite often come off, but I'm interested to see if that's resulted in damage.
Yeah, has he got damage? Although we've gone in on the restart, no damage showing. But yeah, the one good thing there was a massive gap here. Zafa's been completely caught cold on the
2 seconds back as well, and then it's number 1.2 to Campa.
Yeah, so I don't know if there was, we'll have to maybe watch that restart back to see if there was any shenanigans at play there. But Ghostface and Brothers have ran away already, 2 seconds clear.
Starfish gone off at turn 1 as well onto the grass. And he rejoins, making contact with his team. It's literally half spinning him.
And Chesney's caught the inside curb and he has to have a dodgy run. He's already at the back already. Massive gaps open up, or like it's 2 seconds, but contact as well there between. Is that Gremic? No, it's Campa and Nitro with more contact. Campa looks like he's just trying to hold on and not lose any ground, but Lucas Champions have made a beautiful move around the outside on his fresh tyres. Campa obviously not in a good position considering he hasn't pitted yet, and he's just been overtaken by 2 people that could get to the end. Whether Lucas Champion does or not, we'll have to wait and see. I think it's going to be very hit and miss whether Lucas Champion could do 16 laps on those mediums.
Yeah, I can't see the mediums getting to the end. I think he will have to box again. But I think just being on the fresh tyres for now was a smart strategy to just try and make the best out of it.
But then you look at Nitro currently sat in P4. I mean, Lucas Champion's going to have a go at him here, but on the hards, same with Zafa and Chesney. So even though currently, you know, in terms of track position, they're not that strong, considering the safety car bringing everyone back together, they're in a good position. As I think this Campa's gone flying off the track at the final corner there as well, so whether that's a little warning heading his way as well, it won't help his cause it if he looks to somewhat, I mean, I say keep his championship hopes alive. I mean, they're more than alive at this point. The candle is burning very bright, but it's whether you wanted to get the deal done today, which is looking very unlikely at this point.
Well, I suppose it depends, because obviously Bradders needs a pit. We could be in a place where Bradders can't achieve the top points to really.
That is true, yeah. I mean, it depends what happens with these medium runners at this point.
Yeah.
Whether the medium runners do choose to get to the end and then there's a crash or something, and then, yeah. I mean, we wouldn't have expected there to be a safety car like there was, so at that point we'll have to see. But the front two are 2.2 clear as well, so even if they do have to pit again, if they could just pull away and create a nice little gap here to the likes of Lucas Champion and Nitro, then they are sitting relatively pretty, even though they've had to do a little dodgy pit stop here, being a bit out of the way. I think Bradders is going to look for a move here, Dynamite, a bit of an ERS burn. Going to go side by side actually, as Ghostface has got a bit more straight line speed, not really using any battery himself, yes, but has to sacrifice the position in the end.
Be interesting to see now, because Lucas Champion's just got into third, what he can do from here with fresh movement. I
see what, yeah.
Bring down the gap between the third and our 13 lap goal.
Fastest lap going his way as well so far. 2.5 the gap, so we'll review that gap towards the end of the lap and see how much he's been able to eat away on this lap just by itself.
I mean, already though, look at that.
He's already taken half a second
out of it.
Once we get one more retirement today, then everyone can get points, and then everyone will go home happy. Zafa the only one currently outside the points, him and his teammate scrapping, although he does have a penalty as well, so Zafa currently going to be the only man without a point going his way. Saba having a horrific season.
I think that's not ideal as well for them, as they are 9 seconds off the leaders already.
Yeah.
So you're talking the thought of them being one of the sort of only few on the hard to get to the end. By the time the leaders pit, they're going to be
already adrift.
Right in the back of them, and certainly cut, quickly certainly down like that.
So considering we are in round 8, and Sauber currently have 8 points to their name in the season. So I think when you look at the worst points tally we've had, I think the worst tally is like 18, something like that. I think that was Cyril and Nepatar in like season 4 or something like that. And it's looking very good for them to beat their record. Oh, we've got a spinner as well. Ali's driven into the side of, I think that was Gremic there, sent sideways.
Especially when you see the rate that the tyres are making a difference. I mean, look at that gap.
Yeah.
Lucas Champion's only now
a second.
3 tenths off the RS.
You put them a second in that one lap alone, so Brad is massively off the track there, as well as they continue to scrap. Not going to help their cause if they want to keep Lucas Champion somewhat at bay. It's a weird one, because do we even really fight him when he gets into the back of you? Slick's having a very good race as well, pushing up on these mediums, but
I think you have to fight Lucas Champion if you can. Well, not they can because of the tyre deficit, but there's every chance Lucas Champion also needs to come in and make another pit
Yeah,
stop.
yeah. So then at that point it's track
Yeah,
position.
he's on the fresher tyres, but they're still on sort of a 2-stop strategy each, potentially.
This is going to be interesting to see because I think one of the medium runners is going to try and go all the way. I don't know who that would be, but I think someone's going to suck it up and try and get to the end. Ghostface already playing games with his DRS to none, and look at this, Lucas Champion going for a move already before they even get to the DRS straight. Traction, I imagine Lucas Champion's going to get a much better exit. A bit of contact between the pair. Going forward with Slick just to see what's happening. They're going to go side by side. Brothers holds out for now, but using a bit of DRS to stay ahead, I imagine that's going to mean he burns past Ghostface on the straight, who's also must be burning. Yeah, down to 30%. They're going to go side by side down into the hairpin. Run a bit wide.
Contact as well. Lucas Champion trying to find a gap, but there's going to be nothing there for him.
Oh, Brothers is in. 13 laps on the mediums. I mean, he's doing a bit of a longer stint, but he's then bit the bullet and decided he wants to kind of play it on his own terms, because Lucas Champion then gets up into P1 as well. So this is going to be an interesting point to see. Can Lucas Champion drop Ghostface in this lap? Can he just literally clear the pack just in this one lap alone? Because this could be the moment that he just runs away.
That's both the championship battlers in.
Very early as well. I guess at that point Campa's just covering. I guess he's just literally realised that was he just needs to stay as close as possible on track to Brothers and just see what happens, which is honestly quite a smart way to play it. Look at that 6 tenths already between Ghostface and Lucas Champion. I don't think he's going to be able to fully break away, but
yeah, I think Ghostface is going to get DRS down the straight, which is going to help him. If he is boxing this lap as well, it's going to help him to try and get back to Brothers.
Seager gets a 3 second. It's not going to help his cause at all.
I ticked over a second, but I believe at the DRS detection. But yeah, so yeah, he's within the second now.
All that DRS games has really helped Slick though, yeah, because he was nearly 2 seconds adrift of Lucas Champion, and he's fully now on the back of Ghostface. So imagine this time next lap he should be fully in the ballpark in terms of being able to scrap away. Alien Nitro having a little scrapper so to the back. We've got a car in the pits then, that is Nitro Ghostface in. So this is going to be interesting to see the gap between Ghostface and Brothers and Campa. 4.3 is the gap between Brothers and Campa currently. So what's the gap going to look like between Brothers and Ghostface? It's just one extra lap that he's done. On good the mediums. Brothers coming down the main straight now. Where is he going to be? You see him? You don't even see him coming out of the pits yet.
Ahead.
And that's going to be a substantial gap. I mean, he's going to be just over a second clear. And most importantly, who's that? He's just left in behind. Campa, yeah, and Campa's 2.5. So realistically, if Brothers has the raw pace advantage over Brothers, this could be it here where he just pulls away. Just set the purple first sector as well. So if he has the pace advantage here over Brothers, yeah, if Brothers has the advantage over Ghostface, he should just be able to hold him at arm's width distance and just hope that the Italians behind him don't get within DRS and start switching DRS and gaining on him that way. Otherwise it's looking quite good for him.
So Grummick's the only man then who hasn't pitted yet.
And he has to come in because he hasn't done a stop at all. Unless Bro's trying to go to the end. Do a zero stop. I mean, Grummick does like the zero stops in the wet. 1.3 second gap as well between Slick and Lucas Champion now that they're in clear air at the front.
I wonder if we're going to see Grant. Yeah, he's not finishing the pit lane now. Obviously, I don't really want to do last lap to make sure they didn't double check and what's actually doing right. So do a bit of that.
Quite slow into the pits, but securely in. This pack of, well, I'd say the provisional leaders. We don't even know if these are the provisional leaders considering the different pit strats, but Brothers, Ghostface, Campa coming down the main straight now, so Ghostface, yeah, clears in. Grummick just done by Campa as well, so Grummick's going to be slightly adrift here at the back here.
I'd be very surprised if these medium runners can get it to the end.
Yeah. Or if they do, I think they're going to be on their you know, they're asking for a puncture at that point, I think, where, you know, it gets the last 3 laps or so and you're like, any moment now your tyre can pop.
I think even then, if you, obviously it's a soft tyre, but I think if you run the soft tyre here, you're almost talking like close to 10% there a lap.
Yeah, softs are grim here. But it's even at this point.
You imagine the mediums are probably only a few % off of our modes, at which point there's no chance of it.
Kick's still doing relatively okay. 5th and 6th, 6 seconds though off the front 4 currently though, so we see what the likes of Bradders can do. Watch that gap of 7.7 seconds. Bradders behind Hugo Skywalker. See if that gap changes at all. As Hugo actually goes for a move on Chesney.
He's spinning. I don't know if not Chesney's turned in slightly too early there or what. I'd have to see that back, but
yeah, well, when I looked behind to see if there was any sign of Bradders behind, and I looked before they were even at the turn, and Chesney was sideways, so I thought it was a moment into traction or like ABS braking. But yeah, it looked at that point then that he turned it too early and didn't realise he had a car up his inside. But 5.3 the gap now between Bradders and this pack up ahead. 1.8 seconds as well between Lucas Champion and Slick. As Ali and Nitro doing a very good job here as well of sticking with him.
The only thing going against Nitro at the moment is the penalty, but obviously that's a 10-second penalty, isn't it? So
that could come off, yeah.
Yeah, so the chance he can appeal that and get that removed, it's not like it's the 3 seconds where you're thinking, okay, yeah, we do remove the 3 seconds sometimes, but they usually obviously stay.
I think realistically will come off, considering the extent of the hit that we removed from Campa last week. I think that kind of sets some form of a precedence that any 10-second at this point is going to come off unless you just fully smash into a guy and punt him into a wall yourself. So I think realistically, yeah, that's basically already off in my head. So at that point, then he's only 3 seconds off the lead, and on the optimal tyres.
More importantly, he's 14 seconds up the road from Bradders.
Yeah.
So if the others do have to pit, that's a 14-second gap to who you'd imagine would then be
your next rival on track. Yeah.
Yeah.
Azali's then up to what is currently P2 on those medium tyres, but like we said, 8 more laps to go. Can you do 18 laps on the mediums around China? I mean, we're going to find out if anyone chooses to do it, or whether someone ends up in a wall after the tyre goes pop. Slick actually gets a lovely move back up the inside of Ali. Ali trying to hang it around the outside, but no, has to give up that position for now.
I think that's quite interesting about the medium runners, is none of them coming in yet. Because obviously now, I suppose a couple of these laps were under safety car, but we're getting to the point where it is about that 50-50 split in racing laps if they were to pick now for no medium. Unless maybe they could be thinking a medium soft, but I'm surprised no one's come in yet if they are to come in. It'll be about now, surely they'll be considering it.
Well, yeah, 8 laps left you go. At this point you probably could do softs until the end, but by the end the softs won't be optimal at all.
Yeah, it might be they just want to get 1 or 2 more laps out of the mediums and maybe that's their fault, it's medium soft.
Yeah. Or they're just trying to go to the end. I mean, they might be pushing for the mediums and just see how the tyres get there when they get to that point. But if they get to lap 22 or something, and they see their tyre wear, do they then go, yeah, go on then? Someone like Slick,
the longer this goes on, the more you begin to think maybe there's a chance they're going to try this, but...
Because to some extent, the front 3 currently, they've got nothing to lose here. Lucas Champion's had a bit of he had a good run at one point, but he obviously missed last week. Not massively, in the full scrap for anything in the championship. Ali, same with him, same with Slick. So at this point, you're just thinking, if worst case your tyre explodes on like 26, is it the end of the world? Really? Probably not.
Yeah, I think Lucas is probably the one who, more out of the others, is going to look at it and want to try to get involved in the battle for the P2 and the standings realistically.
Ali and Slick are helping each other there, just locking wheels through turn 1, costing each other a bit more time as they've lost a handful of tenths there to Lucas Champion.
It also doesn't help that let Nitro close right in on them still as well, and at some point you'd imagine Nitro is going to be able to get through on what will then be a better tyre.
It's frustrating, I think, for him that he's obviously got the not just the penalty, because obviously, like we said, that probably won't have so much of an impact, but considering he's got 2 cars ahead of him, he's struggling to get through them just because of the DRS that's being put in play. That he can only realistically get 1, but then because the other cars got DRS, it all just depends on how much of their battery they're burning down the main straight just to keep each other all at bay. Yeah, because he hasn't got that good of a run compared to the other two through the bounce corner, so I can't imagine any move will get thrown up in the air this lap.
Brad has now reached the back of Chesley as well, so this is another one that potentially it's important if he wants to try push on high to get this done nice and quickly.
No ERS left at all though.
But with the DRS, it looks like it's going to be easily done before they even reach the turn.
Yeah. Chesney obviously fixed his front wing as well. So considering all that, I mean, it's not too bad. Campa all the way down in 10th though. I mean, just the way that this race has played out, it's massive for the. I say it's massive for the championship, but realistically, I still think it's going realistically pointing to one way. But in terms of delaying it, I mean, it is a big weekend. The one benefit though for Alpine overall, even though they had one driver, and their driver at the moment is getting 1 point in the main race, is that their closest rivals, Williams, are then down there as well with both cars. So I think realistically it could all, but it might be done actually in terms of the constructors. 91 points coming into this weekend in terms of where Williams are positioned right now. Aston a P3, and they're a further 24 points back. So it's not looking that strong for Aston either, really. So I think it could be done. It might officially be done at this point. Obviously, I would confirm or deny it, but I think it's looking very good for them as well. That at least that would get across the line.
There's still every chance even the drivers gets done today. Because this is the thing you have is, I mean, Bradders is closer on Hugo, so Hugo's got an service note where it's all be done as well. And then after that, it depends how much you can catch up the rest. But right now,
like fifth,
he's a man. Yeah, he's not going to be scoring high, so.
I think the one benefit is obviously that Campa looks like he's only where he's positioned unless people pit. It looks like he's getting 1 point, so although he did have 8 points overall because he did get runner up in the sprint as well. So
I'm interested to see how this happens because now I think I've hit the point where I think the mediums will go to the end now. Yeah, and I genuinely didn't think there was a way it was possible.
So did they survive?
I mean, I've not properly tested the medium tyre here because obviously we're set to do mostly wet race, but whether or not the tyre deg isn't as bad as first thought.
Well, in terms of the optimal pit lap from mediums, if you're doing a medium hard, just a normal race, you pit off the. Well, you go into the mediums and you do around 10 laps, 10, 12 laps optimal wise doing mediums. So doing 18, I guess it's not completely out of the question, but it's considering the rate of wear on the softs, you think about the mediums as well, and you go, well, you add 5, 6 laps onto that optimal pits lap. How much percentage wear is it per lap when you add it all up? At what point are you entering 70% and going into puncture territory?
Yeah, I certainly think these will be entering the puncture territory, but originally I thought it was pretty much going to be a guarantee that we pushing them too far. But...
Only 5 laps. At this point, 5 laps there. They're going to the end, surely. I'm assuming everyone's going to be good on fuel as well. Yeah, everyone's fine on fuel.
Yeah, if you bare lap now, it's out of fuel panic, realistically. You would have pitted by now if that was your plan.
Yeah, if you pit now, it's because your tyre's literally, like, just as you're coming up to the pit line, your tyre's exploded, and you've had to bail into the pits.
Either that or they've just started to run the maths and they thought these aren't making it.
Yeah. They've seen that they're on like 84% and they don't believe that they get to the end. So in amongst all this then, Bradders is up to 5th, and he's cut that gap down just under 7 seconds. It was at 7.2, I think, when Zafa was the lead of this pack. So Bradders is eating away at it, but he's not going to make up 6 seconds in the last 4 laps. Even if he will get Nitro, but Nitro will get that position reinstated if he asks it to, which I imagine he will, because it's more than likely will get removed if he asks.
We saw the rate Lucas Champion was catching at the beginning. I know there was a bigger tyre differential here, so I think it's unlikely he will get it, but at least he's managed to push right up, and the other medium runners should have their tyres exposed. After all of this, we end up somehow winning it. I'm just keeping an eye out to see if we have our first punch here.
At this point, I would actually be very sad for for these people if they do get punctured, because they've gone bold with their strat. Lucas Champion's actually lost a bit of time to Slick on the last lap or two, as Ali then shoots back up to third. Nitro's still getting involved, but Nitro just hasn't been able to fully get involved with this pack, really, because considering he's on the better tyre, just hasn't really worked out the way that it was first pictured. I mean, it looked like he was on paper the favourite to win. You know, going onto the hards, it looked like, you know, it was all opened up for him. All the mediums wouldn't have to go to or they'd have to come in again. But the medium runners have been able to drag it out, so even though the mediums are on their last legs here, Nitro just doesn't have the minerals at the moment to push up into that podium position, which would be painful. .8 that gap is all already between Nitro and Bradders.
Yeah, it's coming down, but it's not quite quick enough, is it?
Yeah, considering there's 3 laps left. I mean, he'll probably be right in the back of Nitro at the end of the race, but at the same time, that's still not enough to do anything. So let's see though. 4.2, yeah, I mean, realistically, it's still unlikely that Bradders will be able to push up, but a 5th position is still very solid for him. But it's just whether that is enough when we, you know, do the official classification and can see where everyone stands, and whether that is enough just to keep him in the mix. Which I think it might be. I think realistically it's still such an outsider shot, because if he wants any chance, you know, considering Chocolat's out of the picture today, he needed to win. He needed a full haul of points, really. He won the sprint. If he did what Trent
needed Campa to be where he is while winning, really.
Yeah.
But it will drag it on to next race, but then you're talking, I mean, Campers can basically not score any points in the last 2 races, like what he's done down the straight.
Yeah, which at that point
dropped massively up front. Lucas Champion was clear by a couple of seconds of there.
Yeah, he was 2 seconds. Yeah, and he's already, well, if this stays the way across the lap, he will be in DRS. Well, the people behind will be in DRS with him. Ali, out of nowhere, could have a little win on his hands here. Maybe Lucas Champion's almost hit that wall where the tyres have just got to that point where they're just like on their last legs, and he's really struggling. He might have built that gap and pushed his tyres that little bit further. I mean, it's anyone's game really here in this front 4. Bradders has got that gap down to 3.4, but 3.7, but still only 2 laps left. It's just not enough really to get involved in any kind of sense, you'd imagine, unless there is a collision which you can benefit from.
Look how slowly Lucas Champion's going around.
Yeah,
here.
Look, I wonder if he hasn't got a puncture, but I wonder if his tyres at this point are on like 80%. He's lost another position through there. He's got no confidence in the tyres at all. Slick could take the lead here. He's got DRS, but then I guess Ali did as well, based on how he actually gained a position on Lucas Champion. He went from 1st to 4th in one little straight. So
I think this has worked out beautifully for Nitro though, because I thought him not getting the move done was going to... Oh, Lucas seems a bit. So
wow.
I think it's his front left, so I was keeping an eye on it.
It is, yeah,
it's
wow.
It's not fully gone, but it does look... So that's, yeah, he's the first man to get...
Wow.
These 2 can hold up in their
2 laps left. We're on puncture territory. Imagine after all this though, Bradders can have all contact between Nitro and Ali. Imagine after all this, if Bradders gets a P2. Just because everyone else gets punctures.
I mean, even the rate they're fighting, I mean, I think he could potentially lead having actually won this race, but it's just whether or not. Obviously then Nitro's going to report 10-second penalty.
Yeah.
But he's got 1.4 seconds to make up while Nitro's stuck behind these 2 on completely dead medium. That's
so painful. That's beyond painful for Lucas Champion now. 2 laps away from the race win, and now he's not going to have any points. And then you just look at it from that sense of, you know, oh, if you would have pitted, he probably would have been able to put those tyres to good use and get some kind of points here, but it's painful. So Slick currently your leader, but him and Ali must be shitting themselves, thinking that the tyres are about to explode, considering they just in the race leader have to bail out to the pits because his tyres exploded. Ali choosing to stay behind there as they go on to the final lap here. Tyres still in one piece for now. Very, very slow though as we go.
This could be even more painful if it goes to the final lap. Is that Hugo gone as well? Oh no,
I thought that was Slick's tyre. Slick was heavily sparking there. I thought he was gone. Massive moment for Nitro on the exit of the final corner as well, so he's lost a lot of ground.
Brothers is almost in this DRS as well.
Wow.
He's going to reach him with no ERS left at this point.
Yeah. Considering Ali's got 94%, Slick's 60. Nitro's even got half a battery tank left as well, so I think even if he does catch up, he hasn't got enough he hasn't got the gadgets to play with. I think Ali's probably the best position here, considering he's got full ERS. It's all he's asking here is just avoid a puncture. Stay off the curbs, do what they do in like Qatar or something. The race engineer's telling him, keep it nice and steady. Got like 5 corners left to go. On the last lap, drama here, as Brothers will be in DRS, but don't know if he'll be able to properly do anything with that. At this point, he's just hoping that another car's tyres explode. He's right on the back though, 6/10. He might be able to make a move considering he has got 40% as well.
I think he needs another lap or 2 to go, didn't he, realistically?
Yeah.
Well, probably only one more lap. He's going to burn as well, but all of them will be burning down here.
Here it goes then. Can Ali make a move into the penultimate corner? Down the main straight. Yes, he does. Yeah, Bradders too far back, so Ali takes the lead above Slick. Bradders goes for ascended, completely wipes out Slick. Wow.
That's painful for Slick then. I mean,
Bradders should get a penalty for that.
I'm sure, but he's going to miss out on P2 because of it.
So it's going to be Ali then. It coasts across the line, actually. Coasts across the line and lets Bradders win. Wow. Oh, because Ali's in the wrong car. Ali's his teammate. Ali's he's the other Aston Martin driver.
Oh, of course, and yeah.
So he has just let his
you can have
teammate...
the report come in potentially, which swaps it over anyway. So
Wow.
if that gets reported, I think Ali still wins the race anyway. But
Bradders
to give away the win.
Bradders has immediately come into the chat and said, he's just said not a penalty. I mean, you've completely outbraked yourself and flown in and wiped a car out. I can't imagine that doesn't go down as a penalty. In which case, that's a 10-second. Realistically, that's penalised. That's a 10-second penalty, and then you'll end 4th or 5th or however far back the last of that pack was.
If he's saying he didn't hit him, and that's true, then obviously he can bring his footage and prove that. Because there's a chance, I suppose, it's the other car.
Yeah. From our POV, it looked like it could have been almost like a double hit, so we'll have to see. But the way he suddenly spun around, it did look quite interesting. But Bradders then takes the win currently, so very contentious end again, but we don't properly know who's actually going to take the win. It could be one of the Astons. I imagine, if it's not Bradders, it is going to be Ali. But currently then it is Bradders with Ali, make a Aston Martin 1-2. Slick gets a wonderful podium from 10th, Ali 14th as well, so great comeback drives from them. Ghostface all the way up to P4 at the end as well, so great race from him. Nitro P5 after all that, although we will get promoted to P4 if he asks to remove that penalty. And then your championship leader all the way down in 8th, so we'll have to see how that has impacted the championship and whether there's any shadow of a possibility that Bradders can close this in with just 2 rounds left to go. Suzuka up next, and then Abu Dhabi in 2 weeks, so we'll have to see.
I think even if Bradders did get a problem with West Ham at 4, I think that's enough to take the title down to the final day, purely because Campa just didn't have a great race in the end.
Yeah.
But obviously, if Bradders is saying he made no contact, and that's true, then at that point, it's a huge swing in this championship points in the end. And I mean, fair play to him, fantastic drive, but he's not maybe contacted him back to win that.
It must be said, in terms of sportsmanship, Ali's done a blinder there in terms of his strat. Managed to see it out to the end. And then, despite all of that, he's then given his position to his teammate on the line because he's thinking more about his position in the championship. I mean, fair play. We just have to see if that has any, long overdue effect and whether it means anything. But we'll have to see whether which Aston Martin actually ends as the race winner when we go through the official standings tomorrow, because they will go up tomorrow. So, and we'll see what the championship's positions are looking like, whether Alpine have officially got that across the line as well, which I think they have, considering their gap was 91 points coming into this. But On to Tier 1, where we've got another close championship still bubbling away. But if you're just interested in watching Tier 2, feel free to tag along next week when we're in Suzuka for the penultimate race of the season. But yeah, if you want to stick around for Tier 1, please do so. We're racing in a lovely wet China, so yeah, come along for that if you're interested. And if not, we will see you next week, Tier 2 in Suzuka. Goodbye.